Welcome back to the Mad Dog Farm. Recent events, things going on. The virus is still here. There's talk of a second national lockdown. I know in the UK they're talking of a national lockdown again. France have said that they won't be locking down nationally, but it's going to come. Numbers are going up and up and up. What was it last night?
7,300 and something.
Yesterday's coronavirus positive count was 7,300 and something. You know, quite high numbers. They're not talking. They don't say how many hospitalisations or how many deaths. But anyway, we shan't go into all that because that's doom and gloom. But with all this ooh-ah and the weather being the way it is, food shortages could become a thing. So the Hobbit, being the Hobbit, is getting prepared. She's already prepared. She was prepared for the last time we got locked down and stuff. But she's down in the dungeon. I'll just quickly show you down here. See what she's getting up to. We alright down there?
Yeah. You alright up there?
Yeah.
What?
I can see what you're doing.
Oh. Good job I'm not muttering about you then, isn't it? And what's the problem with what I'm doing?
Are you getting it all lined up?
Yeah, it's probably going to have to move again. At some point. I should imagine. Be alright for lemon for a little while. You see me wanting some cardboard down there so I can stack. Eventually. Safely say it doesn't look like these shelves are bending.
Well, it shouldn't do.
No. Potatoes. Potatoes are all still alright down there.
Oh, good.
That's loads of. Oh, that's right. We need flour upstairs, don't we? Some normal farine de blé. Got.
So can you quickly just point on the shelves what's where?
Well, can't you see?
No.
All your canned goods. Canned and... Well, it's all canned anyway. Got all your vegetables, your sweet and sour sauces, your bolognese sauces. Still finding all my soy sauce. All your big bottles on the bottom and my little stash of coffee.
How many jars you got?
Just a few. 12. But then you've got 12 boxes of tea in a box.
Yeah.
And then I've got household bits in a box at the minute, dog stuff. I've got the flowers and stuff in boxes over here. That sort of stuff we'll keep in these boxes because they're the hermetically sealed boxes. Then I've got my bottles to put back on some shelves when they get done, and another set of shelves that I can just keep moving stuff around and playing.
Oh, great.
Because we've got loads of dried stuff upstairs, rice, chickpeas, legumes and whatnot. Did that explain everything enough?
Yeah.
Good.
So I think you'll agree that's rather neat and organised. Stock rotation and all that. Old dates at the front. She can be a little shopkeeper down there. Everything's got to be lined up. Anyway, that's all good. That means we won't go hungry. We've had a bit of an issue down in the cellar. We had some racking down over some shelves, and there was MDF shelves. Didn't give it a second thought. Put it in there, and as I've said on the live stream the other day, Tina went in and she said, "Those shelves, the bottles look like they're leaning." I says, "They can't be." I said, "The shelves were rated for 75 kilos." Anyway, we've got another set of shelves in with the racking with the same shelves on it, and she was down there messing about. Came back up with one of the shelves off the other racking, covered in mould underneath. So we've got a bit of a damp issue down in the cellar. So Tina took her weather station, because we've not put her weather station up yet. So she put that down in the cellar, because that reads temperature and humidity. In the meantime, she ordered a little hygrometer, proper little thing as well. We had the weather station down. That was sort of saying about 90-91% humidity down there. We put when the hygrometer turned up, we put that down. That was reading about 4%, 4 or 6%. 4%. It's reading about 4% lower humidity. So it was still in like the high 80s. Now, a lot of the problems with the cellar and all underneath this house, the previous owners blocked all the vents up. Yes, I know. We have unblocked them. Last winter, Tina did just cover them up again, because we hadn't got the insulation in the loft, and there's nothing on the... it's like a suspended floor. It's on joists, and it's just wooden oak floorboards all the way throughout the whole house. So there's a big air gap underneath. And when the wind is really whistling in, Tina says she can feel the cold air coming up. I can't, because I can't really feel a lot on my legs. I can feel it. If I touch my legs, I can feel it. But I can't feel hot and cold, which is why I have a bit of a shock when I get into a swimming pool. Because my legs don't feel it. The top half of my body does. Anyway, but she unblocked it in the spring. Now... we don't know for how many years the previous owners have had the vents blocked up. It's not good blocking the vents. They're there for a reason. I ordered a big commercial fan. Now, we took it down into the cellar yesterday and plugged it in, and it sounds like a jet engine down there. And Tina says, "I can't have that." So, plan B... there's a vent at the front of the house there. There's a vent in the room over there. There's a vent in my office to the outside. And there's a vent in our bedroom that goes into the garage. There is an old blocked up window in the back of the cellar, which then... because I think this half of the house was built first, and then they built the back half onto it. So there is like a little window at the back of the cellar, but it's been blocked up. Now, Tina's going to go under our bedroom floor, and if it's all in there and there's a lintel and everything, we can knock a little hole through, because there's a vent in our bedroom which goes into the barn. Now, the plan is that we'll get the fan in the barn, drawing air out of the bedroom, and it should pull it through the other air vents, through the house, out into the barn, and then we can vent that out into that outside world. That's the plan, because out in the barn next door, we call it a barn. It's probably the garage, and that's the garage up there as well. But anyway, out there, if we build like a box around the vent, have a framework for the fan, and then join the two up with like a rubber bellows type thing, the fan won't be connected to the building. We won't hear it so much outside, and it can vent outside, and hopefully that will sort the damp problem out. We're never going to get rid of the damp because it's a dirt floor, and I know a lot of people, tank your cellar. No, that's a stupid idea. You tank your cellar, you're still keeping the moisture in all your foundations, and it's just going to deteriorate that. So that is probably one of the worst ideas ever, tanking your cellar. Because it solves the issue with the moisture in your cellar, it then puts the problem into your foundations and everything else. There's a bloke on YouTube I was watching about that, and he seemed pretty clued up on it, and he knew what he was talking about. So it's a dirt floor. We've got some water pipes down there, and I have done a bit of research on this, and it does say to if you've got water pipes, that can cause condensation as well. So we're going to lag those with the old polystyrene stuff. Get some of that. We'll do that. So we've now got some new shelves down there, which are metal. Take a lot more weight. How many kilos per shelf were they? It was silly amount, wasn't it?
300?
300 kilos per shelf. Now that sounds bloody heavy. Anyway, they are proper sturdy. We went down there yesterday and put two together. They're all flat packed. We put them together. I've fixed one to the beam because it lined up quite well. We didn't want to go right up because we've still got to get to the water meter. When the bloke comes out and reads the meter, he goes down there and does that. So come that way a little bit, and it lined up with a beam. So I've just put an L bracket up there, bolted it all to that. And at the other end, it didn't quite line up. So what I've done is I've put a bit of wood in there, just drilled up through the wood, and put a screw in it. The shelves are quite sturdy. I don't think they'd fall over, but I just wanted something fixing it up just to stop it tipping forward, which I don't think it would because there's not a lot of room. The top shelf's only about that far off the beam. The Hobbit is preparing for the apocalypse, Armageddon, and all that kind of thing. But not really preparing for the apocalypse. She likes to be prepared, and she wants stuff stored. And we want to get this cellar so that it's doing the job that it's supposed to. Now, Tina was saying that for sort of keeping like vegetables and stuff, you know, if you're loose, what does it need to be? Between 70 and 90?
Something like that, yeah.
The humidity wants to be between about 70 and 90%. Now, the humidity is at the top end of what it should be, but it's the ventilation down there. When you go down here, you can smell it's musty. It gets on my chest when I go down there. Actually, yesterday when I went down there, it took longer to affect my chest than it has done previously. So I think that with it is airing out a little bit down there, but and then for just an ordinary cellar was between 30 and 60, wasn't it?
No, that was still 65 and for dry goods, canned and stuff.
Yeah, but if you want to have a living cellar.
Oh yeah, that was between 40 and 60.
Yeah, if you want a cellar that you can have as part of your living space, that wants to be between about 40 and 60% humidity. It's all done on relative humidity and this, that and the other, and you can buy a really expensive hygrometer which calculates that for you, or you can get a cheap hygrometer and you can work it out because they call it relative humidity because it's relative to the temperature that's down there. What's the temperature down there at the minute?
It is 18.7.
It's 18.7 degrees down there at the moment. And what's the humidity?
77.
It's 77% humidity, which is well within the range. It has actually gone down because that was about 89. What's the highest? It went up to 89, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the highest it went up to since that hygrometer's been down was 89. It's now about 77, so that's quite good. But it's just we need the airflow. But that fan was just too bloody noisy. I screwed it onto the beam to see if it would sort of resonate through the floor, but whether it resonates or not, it's too bloody loud. You start it up and it sounds like a jet engine. It goes ooh, and that's just on the lowest setting, and it is like, so it's like no, we will have to come up with another plan for that. So that's the idea. It's gonna go out in the barn, but we'll do a video on that when we get round to it. But yes, so that's a little bit of excitement. Tina's down in the dungeon, lining up her stock. We're getting prepared for worldwide food shortages, and I'm not. This video isn't to scare people into going to the shops and buying shitloads of stuff. It's just something to be prepared. It's just something to be wary of, because I watched some farmers on YouTube. Harry's farm, he's a farmer in the UK. His harvest has been absolutely crap. And he was saying that across the country it's utter rubbish. Over in the States, they've had all the storms. It's wiped out millions of acres of corn and stuff. I think there could be a bit of a food shortage coming along on certain things, but we're prepared. And I'm not going to tell you where our little dungeon is, because I don't want none of you bastards breaking in. I better not put that in, had I?
You've put the address on. Pillock.
Yeah, but they don't know whereabouts in the house. We could put a rug over the trapdoor.
Oh, now you've just told everyone. Look for the rug.
Well, we're going to have to put lots of rugs down now, aren't we? And then I'll have to sit here with one of the guns.
Yeah.
So, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. Please give it a big thumbs up. If you did like it, that is. Drop us a comment below. And subscribe if you haven't already. And from me and the Hobbit down in the dungeon, it's bye for now.